Solomon's Proverbs transform wisdom into prosperity. Opening call to action. Did you know that 3,000 years ago, a young king discovered principles of prosperity that still work today? If this question sparked your curiosity, you're going to love this video. So that more people have access to these transformative teachings, click like now and subscribe to the channel. Your simple action can change someone's life. Let's dive into Solomon's wisdom together. Solomon's Proverbs transform wisdom into prosperity. Bible text, Proverbs 3:13-18. 1 Kings 3:5-15. Beloved brothers and sisters, today we are going to dive into the depths of the wisdom of King Solomon, the most prosperous and wise man who ever lived on earth. About 3,000 years ago, in an era where wealth was measured in gold, silver, cattle, and land, Solomon established eternal principles that continue to transform lives to this day. His proverbs are not just ancient words, but golden keys that open the doors to true prosperity. When God appeared to Solomon in a dream and said, "Ask me whatever you want me to give you," the young king did not ask for riches, nor longevity, nor the death of his enemies. He asked for wisdom. And it was exactly this choice that made him not only wise, but also the richest man of his generation. The Bible tells us that King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth in riches and in wisdom. 1 Kings 10:23. Today, through the 5 fundamental pillars extracted from Solomon's Proverbs, we will discover how to transform wisdom into lasting prosperity. These principles echo perfectly with modern teachings about abundance mindset, proving that God's word is truly timeless. 1. The abundance mindset. The heart of the wise seeks knowledge. Proverbs 18:15 says, "The heart of the prudent acquires knowledge, and the ear of the wise seeks knowledge." In Solomon's days, Israel was a small nation surrounded by powerful empires. There were no universities, internet, or books as we know them today. Knowledge was transmitted orally through experiences and observation of nature. Even so, Solomon understood a fundamental principle: the mind is the greatest treasure we possess. The wise king dedicated time to observe ants and learn about diligence. Proverbs 6:6-8. Studied the behavior of the lazy to understand poverty. Proverbs 24:30-34. And analyzed the strategies of Phoenician merchants who visited his kingdom. He transformed every experience into wisdom, and every wisdom into prosperity. T. Harv Eker, in Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, teaches that rich people believe, "I create my life," and while poor people believe, "Life happens to me." This is exactly the difference between having a wise mind and a foolish mind. Solomon knew that his choices and his knowledge would determine his destiny. In today's world, we live in the information age, but paradoxically, many people live in mental poverty. They consume entertainment in excess, but invest little time in financial education, personal development, or professional skills. Solomon's abundance mindset teaches us that we should be like sponges, constantly absorbing knowledge that makes us more valuable. Proverbs 27:17 warns us, "As iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another." Solomon knew that we grow through relationships with people wiser than us. Today, this means seeking mentors, participating in study groups, reading biographies of successful people, and constantly learning. True wealth begins in the mind. When you develop an abundance mindset based on knowledge and wisdom, you become a magnet for opportunities. People want to do business with those who demonstrate wisdom and integrity. Just as Solomon dedicated time to seek wisdom, establish daily time to learn something new related to your finances, career, or personal development. Read books, listen to podcasts, take courses. Remember, the wise in heart will receive commandments, but a prating fool will fall. Proverbs 10:8. 2. The power of diligence. The hand of the diligent makes rich. Proverbs 10:4 says, "He who deals with a slack hand becomes poor." But the hand of the diligent makes rich. In Solomon's time, the economy was based on agriculture, livestock, crafts, and commerce. There were no government pensions, social insurance, or welfare programs. Those who did not work diligently simply did not survive. Solomon observed this reality and extracted from it eternal principles about the importance of hard and consistent work. Solomon himself was an extraordinary example of diligence. He was not content to inherit his father David's kingdom. During his first years of reign, he rose early, slept late, studied the laws, organized the government, planned the construction of the temple, established trade routes, and strengthened the army. His diligence transformed Israel into the most prosperous nation in the Middle East. Proverbs 6:6-8 presents us with one of the most powerful lessons about diligence. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer or ruler, yet it stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest. Solomon teaches us that true diligence is proactive, not reactive. Harvika emphasizes that rich people commit to being rich, poor people want to be rich. The difference lies in commitment to diligent action. Wanting is just a passive desire. Committing is taking consistent actions, even when we don't feel like it. In today's economy, diligence manifests in different ways, but the principle remains the same. While many seek shortcuts, quick schemes, or magic formulas to get rich, those who apply Solomon's wisdom know that true wealth is built brick by brick, day after day. Modern diligence includes staying updated in your professional area, developing multiple income sources, investing consistently, building valuable relationships, and most importantly, doing more than expected in everything you set out to do. Proverbs 22:29 declares, "Do you see someone skilled in their work? They will serve before kings. They will not serve before officials of low rank." Solomon knew that excellence in work opens doors that money alone cannot open. Today, being skilled in your work means being so good at what you do that people cannot imagine that activity without thinking of you. It means delivering exceptional results consistently, even when no one is watching. Identify an area in your professional or financial life where you have been negligent or lazy. Make a specific plan to apply diligence in that area for the next 30 days. Remember, a sluggard's appetite is never filled, but the desires of the diligent are fully satisfied. Proverbs 13:4. 3. The wisdom of relationships. One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin. Text. Proverbs 18:24. One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Solomon lived in an era where relationships determined not only personal success, but the survival of entire nations. Through strategic alliances, commercial agreements, and diplomatic relationships, he transformed Israel from an isolated nation into an international trade center. His wisdom in relationships was so notorious that kings and queens traveled thousands of miles just to hear him. The Queen of Sheba, for example, came to test Solomon's wisdom with difficult questions. Impressed not only with his answers, but with how he treated his servants and organized his house, she established commercial agreements that brought even more wealth to Israel. Solomon understood that quality relationships are the foundation of all lasting prosperity. Proverbs 27:6 teaches us, "Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses." Solomon knew how to distinguish between genuine and superficial relationships, between those that add value and those that only consume resources. In Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Harv Eker reveals that rich people associate with positive, successful people, poor people associate with negative, unsuccessful people. This principle echoes perfectly with Solomon's wisdom about the importance of selectivity in relationships. In the era of social networks, it's easy to confuse quantity with quality. We can have thousands of friends or online followers, but that doesn't mean we have relationships that contribute to our prosperity. Solomon warns us that it's better to have few deep and mutually beneficial relationships than many superficial relationships. Proverbs 13:20 declares, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." Your closest relationships will determine your level of prosperity. If you are surrounded by people who constantly complain about the economy, who blame others for their problems, who are afraid to invest or to undertake, these attitudes will influence your mentality. On the other hand, when you relate to people who have an abundance mindset, who invest in themselves, who see opportunities where others see problems, you naturally elevate your own standard of thinking and action. Solomon's wisdom also teaches us about the importance of reciprocity in relationships. Proverbs 11:25 says, "A generous person will prosper. Whoever refreshes others will be refreshed." Prosperous relationships are those where both parties benefit. Make an honest assessment of your closest relationships. Identify the 5 people you spend the most time with and analyze. Do they raise your standard or lower it? Do they have an abundance or scarcity mindset? Based on this analysis, invest more time in relationships that add value and gradually decrease time spent on toxic relationships. 4. Mastery of words. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. The tongue has the power of life and death, and those who love it will eat its fruit. Solomon deeply understood the creative power of words. In an era where there were 5. Wise resource management. Prepare your work outside. Proverbs 24:27. Put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house. This verse contains one of Solomon's deepest lessons about financial planning and investment priorities. In ancient agriculture, this meant first preparing the land, planting and ensuring the harvest before building a luxurious house. Solomon understood that it is necessary to first establish sustainable income sources before spending on consumption. Solomon himself applied this principle in his administration. Before building his palace, he strengthened Israel's economy, established trade routes, organized the tax system, and ensured the nation had abundant resources. Only then did he focus on prestige projects like the temple and his palace. Proverbs 21:20 reinforces this concept. The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down. Solomon knew the difference between investing and spending, between building wealth and just consuming. This principle of Solomon is perfectly aligned with one of the most important concepts in Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Rich people pay themselves first. Ovika teaches that rich people separate a percentage of their income for investments before paying any bill, while poor people invest only what's left over, which is usually nothing. Preparing your work outside today means establishing multiple income sources, building an emergency fund, investing in education and skills that increase your earning capacity, and creating an investment portfolio before focusing on luxury consumption. Proverbs 27:23-24 advises us, "Be sure you know the condition of your flocks. Give careful attention to your herds. For riches do not endure forever, and a crown is not secure for all generations." Solomon knew that wealth requires active management and constant attention. In the modern economy, this means knowing your investments, regularly monitoring your wealth, diversifying your income sources, and never assuming that current prosperity will be permanent without continuous effort. Solomon's wisdom also teaches us about the importance of timing in investments. Proverbs 20:21 warns, "An inheritance claimed too soon will not be blessed at the end. Wealth built quickly without solid foundations rarely lasts." This applies perfectly to today, where we see people losing money in get-rich-quick schemes, speculative cryptocurrencies, or investments that promise unreal returns. Solomon's wisdom teaches us to build wealth gradually, based on solid principles. Proverbs 13:11 confirms, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." True prosperity is the result of consistent discipline over time, not of bets or speculations. Implement the 70-10-10-10 system based on Solomon's wisdom. 70% for essential expenses, 10% for long-term investments, 10% for education and personal development, and 10% for fun and consumption. Start preparing your work outside before building your house. The eternal heritage of wisdom. Beloved ones, we have reached the end of this journey through Solomon's millennial wisdom. And I hope your hearts are burning with the understanding that divine principles for prosperity are eternal and immutable. 3,000 years ago, a young king asked God for wisdom and received not only wisdom, but also riches and honor that were never equaled. Today, you have access to this same wisdom through the Proverbs. You can transform your mindset, embrace diligence, build valuable relationships, master the power of words, and manage your resources with heavenly wisdom. Remember the words of Proverbs 3:13-18. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. She is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with her. Long life is in her right hand. In her left hand are riches and honor. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths are peace. She's a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. True prosperity is not just about money, it's about a full life, healthy relationships, clear purpose, and the peace that comes from knowing you are walking in the paths of divine wisdom. May you leave this place not only inspired, but committed to applying these eternal principles in your daily life. Solomon's wisdom is available to you today. The question is not whether these principles work. History has already proven that. The question is, will you have the discipline and faith to apply them consistently in your life? May God abundantly bless your journey toward true prosperity. Closing call to action. Let's pray together. Lord, just as you gave wisdom to Solomon, grant me wisdom to apply these principles in my life. Help me transform knowledge into action and wisdom into prosperity. If you prayed this from your heart, leave your like as confirmation, subscribe to the channel, and share your gratitude in the comments. God has great plans for your financial life. Stay tuned for the next videos. Remember, knowledge is the key to a prosperous life.